Hi, I'm Holly Tallman, and welcome back to another week with our channel, Burnt by Holly Pyrography. Today we are talking about the techniques that you can use your wood burning pen to create the most phenomenal pyrographic art. When you think of a technique, you usually think about how you use your pen, and that's exactly what using a technique is. There are 5 main techniques that are used in the art of drawing, and those simply transfer over into pyrography. So today we're going to start off with stippling. Now, stippling is the art form of repeating tiny dots or tiny markings within your wood burning repetitively to create the tonal range and gradient that you're looking for within your piece. And while you might also hear it referred to as pointillism, the difference between the two is that pointillism uses color to differ shadows or to create contrast within this piece and invoke a different mood, whereas stippling is actually the art form of monochrome using one color. There are 2 main types of tips that are commonly used to create this art technique, one being the ball stylus and the other being the coarse detail tip. Both tips give you the ability to create small circular dots or small tiny dots to create this pattern effect which you are trying to accomplish your artwork with. The second technique that you'll commonly find in pyrography is hatching. Now, hatching is the art form or the technique of repetitively using parallel lines to create different gradings and contrasts within a piece of artwork. You'll find this commonly in pyrography because it's very easy to use. A couple tips that make this technique very simple in your artwork would be your spear tip or your skew. Both have the ability to cut into wood or create very, very straight parallel lines. And while we can't really count on our coarse detail tip to cut into the wood as well as a skew or a spear, we can also use these tips to create parallel lines as well. They just will tend to be on the softer side and stay on top of the wood as opposed to cutting in. The third common one that you will find in pyrography is cross-hatching. Much like hatching, it's the use of repetitive parallel lines. What you will find with cross-hatching is that they intersect, kind of like an X. You'll primarily find this in scrimshaw, actually. However, it has been commonly also transferred over to tattoo work and also found in pyrography. Couple common tips for this as well is the skew and the spear. And like mentioned as also, you don't want to count out your ball tip or your coarse detail tips. They can create some pretty cool effects and you can get different looks depending on how deep you burn. We can talk about another one that I like to use quite frequently, and that is circularism. Now, circularism, or creating circles on your artwork, is a great way to shade your artwork without cutting into the wood. You'll find that if you use a shading tip and you're creating small circles, you can shade quite efficiently and create a very even shade. What you'll find is that when you use circles to shade, you do not leave as many burn marks when you return to the wood or return to your pattern because you're not really stopping, you're using a continuous flow. Last but not least, one of my favorites, definitely something that I used when I was younger and translated really, really well into pyrography. It's the art of scribbling to create different tones and ranges and contrasts. It is a fun one, especially if you're looking for more of a pyrographic doodle or creating different just stress relief type artwork where you're just sitting and not focusing on making something identical or illustrated to somebody else's artwork. You'll find that when you do this one, that it can be therapeutic. So thanks for joining me today. I hope you give these techniques a try. Leave a comment in the comments if you try it out, see how you liked it, start a conversation, and please make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any of the content and ring that bell.